The government has allocated the minimum support price of sugarcane. Also in this edition of Kantipur News, we have updates about talks for humanitarian pause in Gaza and the Nepal Super League. Good evening, I'm Sarah Chitrakar and these are the headlines of the hour. Kathmandu-Tarai fast track fails to gain desired momentum with just 28% works completed in 6 years. Army calls for reviewing legal provisions. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal briefed on government's performance in 1 year by Chief Secretary. Government to monitor the performances of secretaries and staff. Leader of Hamas arrives in Cairo for talks on fresh ceasefire in Gaza. Israeli president says his country is ready for another humanitarian pause. And Jhapa FC stuns Thangari 2-0 in the ongoing Nepal Super League. Playoff hopes alive for Jhapa with the win. The construction of Kathmandu-Tarai Madesh fast track had begun 6 years ago. The Nepal Army that had been contracted the construction of the fast track with a deadline of 6 years has completed only 28% of the project. The government has extended the deadline until the fiscal year 2083. However, the Army has said that the project cannot be completed within the next 3 years due to existing laws. Chief of Army Staff Prabhu Ram Sharma, who had also attended the meeting of the State Affairs and Good Governance Committee, said that the Kathmandu-Tarai fast track cannot be completed within the next 3 years. Answering questions raised by the lawmakers, Sharma termed the existing laws itself an obstacle. He attributed the difficulty in contract process, felling of trees and land acquisition to what he said intricate laws. Sharma further said that the failure to procure explosives was one of the causes for the delay in construction of the fast track. The Army say that explosives have failed to be procured from neighboring India, while China has also caused delay in its procurement. During the meeting, Sharma said that the Army had been making efforts to fell 4 trees for the past 9 months and urged the authorities to address the issue. The Nepal Army had begun the construction of the fast track from the fiscal year 2074. Despite the initial target of completing the project within 6 years, only 28.56% of the construction works have completed so far. The committee has decided to hold a meeting with the departmental ministers following complaints from Nepal Army regarding procedural hassles. The members of the committee, meanwhile, had suggested to complete the project within the deadline, saying that the delay would increase the cost. Prior to this, the State Affairs and Good Governance Committee had summoned Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal and directed to halt the process of sale and purchase of the shares of NCL. The Parliamentary Committee has sought for details from concerned ministries and project team of projects that are 8 years old but failed to take momentum. The Delegated Management and Government Assurance Committee has corresponded with the Ministry of Urban Development for details on the progress made in the Satellite City and Smart City. Lawmakers also raised questions on the government's plan for 10 modern cities along the Mid-Hill Highway and the construction of public residences. Minister for Urban Development Sita Gurung responded, saying some projects were gaining momentum while some had faced policy lapses and budget crunch. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has received briefing from Chief Secretary Baikuntha Aryal regarding the government works conducted within a year. The Premier received the briefing from the Chief Secretary amid widespread criticism regarding the government's failure to work in favor of general public. Presenting a work report, the Chief Secretary termed a lack of coordination and procedural hassles as the major causes of the government's failure to conduct prompt and effective works. He said that all the ministers, including the Prime Minister, must work according to the plan, work plan, and remove procedural hassles. According to Minister for Forest and Environment, Birendra Prasad Mahatto, the Chief Secretary said that government employees must not cause delay in forwarding files and that the need to reach various government administrations for a single task must be changed. The work report presented by Chief Secretary Aryal includes the need to transfer secretaries who fail to fulfill their responsibilities and allocate time for a particular work. Likewise, the need for the conclusion of legal hassle and obstruction in ministerial works through fast track, appointment of secretaries at ministries based on their eligibility and evaluation of each government official has also been included in the report. In the meantime, Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has announced that he would start working all day in Singha Darbar, citing the government's lackluster performance. He said that he will start working at Singha Darbar from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on a daily basis, except during emergency situations, and that he would monitor the performance of ministers and secretaries as well as inspect ministries without prior notice. The Premier said that he will gather details of works conducted by ministries from ministers and secretaries on a daily basis. He said that he was prepared to provide required assistance concerning legal hassles and assured of formulating laws through ordinance if required. President Ramchandra Paudel has appointed 6 justices at the Supreme Court. President Paudel has appointed Saranga Subedi, Abdul Aziz Musalman, Mahesh Sharma Paudel, Tek Prasad Dhungana, Sunil Pokhrel and Balkrishna Dhakal as justices at the Apex Court. President Paudel made the appointments after the 6 were endorsed unanimously by the Parliamentary Hearing Committee. 4 of the justices are from the judicial service, while 2 are legal practitioners. The committee had endorsed their names on the basis of qualifications, skills, capabilities and experience. Saranga Subedi was the acting chief judge at High Court, Biratnagar. Abdul Aziz Musalman had served at the Special Court. Mahesh Sharma Paudel was the acting chief justice of High Court, Patan, while Tek Prasad Dhungana was a judge at Patan. Meanwhile, Sunil Kumar Pokhrel is an expert of criminal and constitutional law. He has also served as the former secretary of the Nepal Bar Association. Position of 1 justice at the Supreme Court still remains vacant. Melamchi drinking water project is an example of the consequence of failing to ensure seriousness in national pride projects and making political recruitments. In 3 years since the declaration of completion of the project, the Ministry of Drinking Water has witnessed 6 ministers and 7 secretaries, while the Melamchi Drinking Water Development Committee has seen 6 chiefs. However, regular supply of Melamchi water has not been ensured for Kathmandu. More than 37 billion rupees has been spent in the name of the project, which still is being abused by political parties to serve their interests. Water from the Melamchi drinking water project, which was initiated around 25 years ago, first reached the Kathmandu Valley 2.5 years ago. Kathmandu Valley residents changed their old water pipes and tanks. However, not even 3 months after the water had arrived in Kathmandu, the project was severely damaged by a massive flood. The project, with an initial completion period, was completed in 22 years after spending 35 billion rupees. The project cost was not limited to that, as additional 2 billion rupees was spent in the past 2 years. The project, which was halted during monsoon in the past 2 years, has not resumed operation despite the lapse of 3 months since the end of monsoon. Contractor company related issues have surfaced as a challenge. This has only left the valley residents struggling for drinking water. The Ministry of Drinking Water does not have another large project similar to Melamchi. Minister and Secretary of the Ministry of Drinking Water must prioritize addressing issues of Melamchi. However, despite 6 ministers, 7 secretaries and 6 project chiefs in the past 3 years, the project was not completed. The government had conducted required repair works last year, probably because of the election. However, no such efforts have been made this time around. Meanwhile, Kathmandu Khanipani Limited is struggling to meet the demand for water. KUKL is supplying water once every week to 15 days at the moment. As per the existing arrangement, Secretary at the Ministry is the chairperson of the Melamchi Drinking Water Development Committee and holds all rights as well. Experts have said that the committee should be provided with all rights, or a separate mechanism should be formulated to address the issues. A meeting of the board has been held 3 months after the end of monsoon and has agreed to assign works to old company Sino. It will take 45 days and 120 million rupees to repair the structure. A total of 2,047 individuals will vote in the National Assembly election slated for January 25. The Election Commission has approved the voters' name list with 2,047 names. As per the legal provisions, Province Assembly members, rural municipality chairpersons and deputy chairpersons, municipal mayors and deputy mayors can vote at the election of the National Assembly. Based on this arrangement, of the 550 Province Assembly members, 549 will be voting as one province member of Sudar Paschim had died in a road accident. Of the 1,506 rural municipality chairs and deputy chairs and municipal mayors and deputy mayors, 1,498 will be voting. 5 are suspended while 3 have passed away. Vote weight of the Province Assembly member is 53 and that of local level representatives is 19. The total vote weight of Province Assembly members is 29,097 and that of local level representatives is 28,462. National Assembly Chairperson Ganesh Prasad Timalsina has said that the Office of the President has not sought any information from him regarding appointment of Secretary General at the Federal Parliament Secretariat. Speaking to the weekly program of Kantipur Television Tough Talk, National Assembly Chairperson Timalsina termed the President's decision to put on hold the appointment of Padma Prasad Pandey as the Secretary General of the Parliament a wrong move. He added that Sheetal Nivas had not provided any information regarding errors in the appointment process. Meanwhile, saying the laws were wrongly used, the Office of the President is yet to implement the recommendation for the Secretary General. Legal advisor to the President, Baburam Kumar, has said that the required procedures were not met. The government has allocated minimum support price for sugarcane at 635 rupees per quintal after the sugarcane farmers mounted pressure on the authority by holding demonstrations. The meeting of the Council of Ministers held earlier today allocated the minimum support price for sugarcane. Industries will now have to pay 565 rupees per quintal of sugarcane, while the government will provide grant of 70 rupees per quintal. Likewise, the meeting reviewed the completion of 1 year of the current government. During the meeting, Chief Secretary Boykunta Aryal informed about the works done by the government. He gave further information regarding procedural hassles and issues caused by laws, in fact flaws in acts and laws. Today's cabinet meeting had been held at the hall of the newly constructed office of the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers that had remained closed since the 2015 April earthquake. Loans issued by the banks has doubled this year in relative comparison to last year. Loans have been released to productive sectors, import and residential construction. Analysts have said that loan given to the productive sector can create employment opportunities. Based on the data of Nepal Rashtra Bank, as of mid-December, banks have issued 146 billion rupees in loans. In the same period last year, only 73 billion rupees was issued in loans. By mid of November, additional 99.4 billion rupees was issued in loans to the private sector. Of the amount, 18.4% was for imports, 8.2% for residential houses, and 6.4% in the share market. Loan in the industrial manufacturing sector has increased by 5.9%. As per the data prepared by the Nepal Rashtra Bank, 23 billion rupees has been released in loans to the industries manufacturing iron and steel, which is 18% higher in comparison to last year. Loans in the cement industry has increased by 1.56 billion rupees. Personal construction works have been thought to have increased with the rise in loans in the rod and cement industry and residential loans. The overall manufacturing sector has received 44 billion rupees. Despite the rise in loans in the manufacturing sector, there is no certainty regarding if the funds have been invested in the intended sector. Analysts have suggested the central bank to monitor the use of these loans. Time now for our segment, Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Before that, let's take a look at the result from yesterday's poll. Yesterday, we had asked, what's your take on the increasing participation of women in civil service? 18% voted for A, result of hard work. 36% for B, access to opportunities, and 46% for C, a message of gender equality. Here's today's question. What should be done to avoid the new variant of COVID from entering the country? The options are A, monitoring at the borders, B, ease access to testing, and C, public should be aware. Voting is on. Type any WS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. In our Public Voice segment, today we have asked in all provinces what should be done to improve the quality of education in community schools. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
शिक्षक शिक्षिकाहरू नै गुणस्तरीय नै हुनु पर्यो
राजनीति गर्नु भने स्कुलमा
बिहानको टिचर आएपछि तपाईको खाजा बेलासम्म नि बस्दैन गइहाल्ने सबभन्दा त्यहाँको प्रिन्सिपलहरुलाई नि हेर्नु पर्यो
निशुल्क बढाएर माथि उच्च शिक्षासम्म अगाडि बढाउन पाए अझ राम्रो हुन्छ
सामुदायिक विद्यालयमा दक्ष जनशक्ति भएका शिक्षकहरु हुन पर्यो
शिक्षकहरुको व्यवस्था राम्रोसँग गरे र सामुदायिक विद्यालयको शैक्षिक स्तर उन्नति हुन सक्छ
करिकुलम नै अब चेन्ज हुनु पर्छ
मुख्य गुरु शिक्षक हो शिक्षकले कक्षा कोठालाई सृजनशीलता युक्त सिर्जना युक्त बनाउनु पर्दछ
टिचर्सहरु कहिले पनि स्कार्सिटी रहेको छ धेरै स्कुलहरुमा या फिर गभर्नमेन्ट स्कुलहरुमा या फिर कलेजहरुमा त्यो प्रोवाइड गर्दिनु पर्यो
विद्यालय व्यवस्थापन समितिले पनि शिक्षकहरुले चाहिँ त्यहाँनिर चाहिँ एउटा चाहिँ आनन्दले चाहिँ हैन स्वतन्त्रपूर्वक चाहिँ त्यहाँनिर चाहिँ एउटा काम गर्ने एउटा वातावरण निर्माण गर्न सक्यो भनेदेखि पनि मलाई लाग्छ कि सामुदायिक विद्यालयले पनि राम्रो एउटा चाहिँ उन्नति प्रगतिहरु हासिल गर्न सक्छ
शिक्षकहरुलाई प्रोत्साहित गर्ने तालिम दिने समय सापेक्षिक तालिम दिँदै जानु पर्यो
हरेक सामुदायिक विद्यालयमा प्राविधिक शिक्षा लिएर आइयो सिपमूलक खालका कार्यक्रम लिएर आइयो त्यस्तो क्लासहरु चलाइयो भने पनि यसलाई अगाडि बढाउन सकिन्छ
शिक्षामा चाहिँ एकदम कम बजेट परेको देखिएको छ तिनी तहले आफ्नो भूमिका के हो त्यो निर्वाह गर्नु पनि देखिएको छ
The leader of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, has reached Cairo for talks on a fresh ceasefire in Gaza. Israel has also indicated it is willing to agree to another pause in fighting in exchange for more hostages. Israeli President Isaac Herzog has said his country was ready for another humanitarian pause. Local media report Israel wants women and unwell men to be included in the deal, while Palestinians imprisoned for serious offenses could be among those freed in exchange. Efforts to get a United Nations Security Council ceasefire motion are set to resume after yesterday's vote was delayed. The US has said it is working with other members on the text, but it has vetoed previous resolutions. Hamas has previously said it would only release hostages if there was a permanent ceasefire. Israel maintains that the war in Gaza will only end when Hamas has been removed from power. More than 20,000 Palestinians are now reported to have been killed and more than 52,000 injured in Gaza since the start of the war. Last night, the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, an ally of Hamas, released a new video showing two Israeli men, 79-year-old Gadi Moses and 47-year-old Elad Katzer, who have been held hostage, pleading to return home.
Sports news.
Jhapa FC have ended the unbeaten run of Thangari FC at the ongoing Nepal Super League. Despite being reduced to 10 men, Jhapa secured a 2-0 win over Thangari. Having earned 3 important points, Anjan Bistar-led Jhapa have kept their hopes of progressing to the playoffs alive. First half of the match, played at the Dashat Stadium in Tripureshwar, had ended goalless. Both sides created several opportunities but failed to convert them. Jhapa found themselves ahead in the 52nd minute. Captain Anjan converted the assist, serving in by Chering Lama. Substitute Samiraj Thokar extended Jhapa's lead in the 77th minute. Jhapa were then reduced to 10 men 2 minutes later. Dhangadi failed to score and were compelled to suffer their season's first defeat. Having lost the points, Dhangadi will now have to wait for their playoffs confirmation. Meanwhile, it was the second win for Jhapa at this season of NSL. They have 10 points and are placed 4th. In their last match of the season, Jhapa will play Chitwan. Third placed Lalitpur also have 10 points, while Dhangadi are second with 12 points. Leaders Pokhara Thunderers are only team with a place secured in the playoffs. New Zealand have won the 3-match one-day international series against Bangladesh. New Zealand secured a 7-wicket win in the match, which saw Samuyam Sarkar of Bangladesh break the record of Sachin Tendulkar. In the match played at the Saxton Oval in Nelson, Bangladesh were put to bat where they were bowled out for 291 runs in 49.5 overs. Soumya Sarkar top scored with 169 runs from 151 deliveries, while Mushfiqur Rahim added 45. Jacob Diffie and William O'Rourke grabbed 3 wickets each, while Adam Milne, Josh Clarkson and Aditya Ashok shared a wicket apiece. In reply, New Zealand chased the target in 46.2 overs. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good night.